Welcome to these videos on the Capo. This is a video on playing key of A shapes on the guitar, but using a capo to move us up into other keys. That's handy for a few reasons. One is, if you're playing with someone else and they're playing, say, an open position, and you want to play the same chords, but you want it to just sound different and like complement the sound. Well, when you know how to use a capo to play other shapes to get you in the same key, that's how you can do that. And it helps to understand the main 5 keys. The key of A, the key of C, the key of G, the key of D, and the key of E. Once you understand those 5 keys and how to use them, you are going to be a powerful player. Today we're talking about A shapes. Well, let's just talk about the key of A for just a second. What are the main 4 chords in the key of A? Our 1 chord is the A, ba-da-dum-dum. Our 4 chord is the D, and then our 5 chord is the E, and our 6 minor is an F sharp minor. It's a bit of a turkey of a chord. Not that there's anything wrong with turkeys. I like turkey. But it's a bit of a difficult chord. Let me show you an alternate, what I call type 2 F sharp minor chord. Now I explain these in detail and with practice on other videos, so hopefully you've watched those videos in level 2 at InsideOutOnline.com. This is what I call a type 1 traditional chord. It's traditional, it's plain, it does the trick, it's the chord. So you can use other shapes that maybe sound cool and are easier to play. This is one of those chords. It's a pretty colorful chord and it won't work for every situation, but it's a pretty handy little chord to have if you're playing key of A. I usually use these fingers. My second finger on top, I skip my A string and I just mute it by just touching it, and then I'll clamp these 2 down. Those would be the same fingers that I would be using, say, for a G chord. So they're used to being stacked together, or say a power chord, right? Those are used to being stacked together. Maybe that's one reason why I like to use those fingers. But the key of A is pretty cool. It's not as commonly used, so maybe that'll be something that is unique about you. Maybe you like to play open A shapes. All right, what keys can we play in while playing those shapes? How about for the rest of the video, I do this type 2 F sharp minor. Well, we have to make this observation first. Where's the bass note for this A chord? The bass note, basically the underlying note that holds the foundation of the chord, is this open A string. It's the second string, open. So I'm playing that open A string as the bass. So wherever the capo is, and I play an A chord accordingly, that'll be its bass note, okay? So that'll work well for the key of C. Here's why. Here's a C note, 3rd fret, capo 3. That's a C note, 2nd string. When I play this A shape from that C note, what comes out is a C chord. C chord. All right? So think about the key of C. Let's say I've given you a chord chart. It's in the key of C, and you say, I don't want to play key of C shapes. I want to play key of A shapes. So wherever that C to F was, remember I talked about this in the last video, going from C to F is going down a string. The bass note has gone down a string. Think about A shape and the string below it. That's like a D string. So what C is to F in the open position, A is to D in capo 3. We're actually playing the same bass notes. This A chord has an open A string. This D chord has an open D string playing to this 3rd fret. That's the same note I'm holding here on this F chord. F chord, bass note, D shape, F note, F major chord. F note, F major shape. Right? You with me? All right, this goes the other way too. C, F, right? We're thinking in the key of C. C, F, the 5 chord is a G. That's to take the bass note up a string from the main note to the top. Well, we went A to D. How do we go up from A? What shape do we play? What major shape do we play from that open string? That E major shape. This is a G chord. What? Yeah. In fact, you can see I'm actually holding some of the same notes. Think of about an open G would have those two clamped down here. And it would have one on top. This E chord also has that one on top playing. And the bright 2 strings are playing. Literally 3 out of 6 of the strings are being played the same exact notes. Right? Top 1 and bottom 2. Top 1 and the bottom 2. I'm not holding those bottom 2. They're playing open to that fret, the 3rd fret. So the key of A shapes gets us really easily into the key of C. Well, let's keep going. What's higher than C? D. When I play an A shape, this is now a D chord. In fact, this is the exact same chord, except for this bright string. We don't get that bright string on an open D chord, but it has a lot of notes in common. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Wow, A shape, D chord. But we also get that bright A note in our D chord. All right, so this is D. So key of D chords would have a D to a G. Well, I'm gonna go A shape to G. Look, in the last video on D shapes, we said this was a G chord. How about that? What is the key of D's 5 chord? Let's say you're looking at that chord chart, it says to go to A. Well, I'm going to go to my E major shape. Look what note that is. That is the A note. What's coming out is an A chord. And we're playing key of A. We still got our minor. If you think about the key of D's minor chord, it's a B minor. If I'm thinking key of A, and I play its minor, the F sharp minor shape, this is a B minor chord. B note, B note, we have that memorized, B note, playing a minor chord from that B note gets us that B minor chord. So quick recap, key of A shapes works well to capo 3. Play A shapes on capo 3, it gets us to the key of C. Capo 5 gets us to the key of D. And we could go one more if we really wanted to and play A shapes. What note is that? G, A, B, C, D, E. That would get us to the key of E. If you play an open E chord and I play this A shape way up here, I'm playing a really bright high A shape, which is an E chord. Bow, bow, right? I don't usually like to use the capo much higher than the 5th fret or so. So that's key of A shapes on the guitar using the capo to get us up higher into other keys. There are some really great videos on these open chords, and it's super important to see the guitar through the lens of the keys. And again, those main 5 keys that you need to understand in the open position are the key of A, the key of C, the key of D, the key of E, and the key of G. Once you understand those 5 keys intimately and at least the main 4 chords that go with each of those 5 keys, things are really going to open up for you. And you can learn to transpose. That's what the capo does, is it transposes us into other shapes, allowing us to play in different keys with, say, familiar shapes. Let's say I don't know how to play in the key of C sharp. Well, if I know that this is a C and that's a C sharp note, if I put my capo there and I play that A shape there from that second string, what's coming out is a C sharp. Now I'm at least in the ballpark. And I can think, okay, I'm at least in the key of C sharp now. I know I can use this D, this E, and this F sharp minor shape, and it's gonna get me close. My name's Capo with Inside Out Online. I will see you on the next video.